Good evening, students. Today we are going to take up Emerson and his transcendental theory. Along with that, we will also study firstly in detail about Emerson as a writer. Emerson has been prescribed in our American literature, the paper of American literature. Under that, we are studying Emerson's essay Self Reliance. But before that, I would like to highlight a few things before you which are very pertinent before reading this essay. Those very things are that Emerson, first of all, he started writing in 19th century. He lived through 19th century, and it was the time period that his creativity was at peak. He lived and worked as a preacher. That was very important point of his life, that Emerson is known for preachings, essays, poems, and above all the philosophies that he gave rise to. He started through his work, and that was transcendental theory. What are the important points in Emerson's essays? They are dignity of labor, dignity of individual also sometimes. So Emerson has been a great writer. In that he just gave stress. He stressed upon human divinity, and this is very closely related to this leads towards transcendental theory. So human divinity, justice, respect for nature, and dignity of individualism, they are very core and important points in order to understand Emerson as an essayist. So if he was a preacher, he even worked as a pastorate at the church. But why did he leave it? So he was not he was in fact very creative, and he was against the kind of repetitiveness that comes, and church actually practices those theories which are repetitive in nature. So Emerson being against these kind of repetitive words, he resigned his position. He resigned from the position as a pastorate at church. He had certain influences in his life. They are very important for the sake of net examination also. Emerson visited England, and there he met Wordsworth, Coleridge, Carlyle, and they had this is how he came in direct contact with Romanticism. So Romanticism theory also influenced Emerson. And what point of Romantic theory? It was individualism, that Romantics stressed upon individual approach. We know Romantics, it was if someone wants to go towards nature, fine. Some was glorifying supernaturalism. Some was going towards Hellenic beauty. Someone was going towards another way. So different kind of things have been accommodated in Romanticism. Emerson was quite much influenced. He quite much liked this theory, and the shades of Romanticism could be seen in the works of Emerson. In fact, he joined a literary society called Symposium, and there he delivered the lecture, and delivered those lecture which later came to be included in his essays. So Emerson has also been called Sage of Concord, because this is the Sage of Concord, the union, the association that all these writers, philosophers, they have formed. So he is the one who came to be called as, who is known as Sage of Concord. So this is the point that may be asked somewhere in net examination. One point. Second is Oliver Wendell. He just when he was Emerson wrote the essay The American Scholar. It is one of the most well-known essays by Emerson from the initial stage. If we look Emerson from that angle, then the first landmark in his career as a writer was firstly Nature, the collection of the poems, and later on this came in 1836, and later on the American Scholar, the essay, it established Emerson's career, Emerson's position as an essayist. So Emerson has been a great writer, and when he wrote the essay, The American Scholar, it was Oliver Wendell who remarked, and his exact words are, this essay is actually, I quote the words of Oliver Wendell, intellectual declaration of independence. So this is how Emerson, through his essay, The American Scholar, propounds those the points that show that how Americans got themselves liberated from European conventions. So European conventions have been followed by Americans, but in his essay, The American Scholar, he clearly remarks that this is the point, that Americans are coming out, how they are setting up new things. So accommodating new things has also been one of the very important aspect of Emerson's writing. Then the next important point is the starting of a magazine. It was The Dial. The name of the magazine is The Dial. It was a magazine that was started by Emerson in association with Margaret Fuller, and the first edition, it was first published in 1841. Later on, owing to certain circumstances, Margaret Fuller was not able to continue, and it was somehow the personal life of Emerson also led him to run this magazine, to secure some economical stability. In order to look forward for finances, Emerson did it. And it was in 1841 that the essay, which is prescribed in our syllabus, Self-Reliance, has been written. So it was in 1841 that this essay, Self-Reliance, came to be published. And even the great writers, we have great poets who used to have association with Emerson. Emerson even tried to translate, even started the translation work of Bhagavad Gita. So means the philosophy of oneness that transcends everything, over soul, means the soul, one soul pervades through all the living beings. So this is the philosophy that has been propounded even in Bhagavad Gita, and he was somehow influenced by it, and he even tried to translate this work. So this is an important point, that the transcendental theory, Emerson somehow believed, is not something confined to America or to England or to the western side of the world. Rather, he gave due consideration to even our religious texts like Bhagavad Gita. And the great writers like Walt Whitman, a very important American poet, Walt Whitman, he even sent his most exemplary work. Walt Whitman's most exemplary work is Leaves of Grass, which was published in 1855. But the point is that this has been, the draft of this collection of poems has been sent to Emerson. So we can imagine the greatness or the trust that other Americans have in Emerson. So Emerson is a name that stands for, that well establishes American essayist genre, and later on he being called as Sage of Concord, you must know, and how his essays have been declaration of independence, intellectual independence, that is the word, and how even the Dial magazine. They are some important points which you, being the students of literature, need to know and need to ponder upon, or need to put a particular record of Emerson. So just in the next lecture I'll share some material. We will discuss the text of the essay Self-Reliance in detail. Thank you. We'll meet again.